The 2025 defensive tackle class, in my opinion, is the most stacked in the draft class. There are a legitimate 25 different defensive tackles that I truly believe could be impactful players at the next level. But today we are going to be talking about the top 15. Again, we'll have some honorable mentions here. But before we get into it, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Helps out the channel a ton. Lets me know you guys are enjoying the videos. Also, be sure to check out the Patreon page, which I will leave linked in the description below. It's $5 a month, but you guys will get exclusive access to my in-depth draft guide and big board. There's over 500 prospects, scouting reports, combine and pro day numbers, player stats, and so much more information that you guys are going to get. It's one of the best resources on the market, and if you enjoy my NFL draft content, it's an easy way to support the channel. But guys, a couple of the honorable mentions that just missed the cut. At number 16 for me, Aeneas Peebles out of Virginia Tech. Really like his game, a little bit undersized. Would like to see him be a little bit stronger in his lower half. That is ultimately what ended up having him miss the cut. The two ties, Ty Robinson and Ty Hamilton, both miss it. Robinson, really good athlete. Hamilton, another solid athlete. I just don't think he's a top 15 caliber guy. And then a couple of other guys here. Cameron Jackson out of Florida. I've got him at 22. JJ Pegues, Shamar Turner are the other two. So a lot of guys that could have made this list that just missed the cut. But let's go ahead and start this off at number 15. What a fall from grace this player had. That's going to be Deone Walker out of Kentucky. I still have a little bit of stock in Deone Walker because what we saw in 2023 was some of the best defensive tackle tape I have seen. He had the ability to drop into coverage, incredibly athletic, the range that he showed as a pass rusher and winning in a variety of different ways. This is a player that you look at the athletic profile, you look at the size and the way that he moves, and you think, yeah, this guy could potentially be like an all-pro level player, but his testing numbers just were not good. Ran a 5.36, 1.9 10-yard split, 25-inch vert, 8.8 on the broad jump. If you tell me that this guy was playing through injury last year, which we have kind of gotten that confirmation, he was playing hurt last year. If you can pencil that his down year was strictly because of that, then I'm buying all the stock. But he really did struggle this past season, and he's not a very strong player. For a guy who's 6'7", 331 pounds, he doesn't really have a great bull rush. He doesn't have a way to win with power consistently, and he really struggles to get past double teams. So I still like the athletic upside, the first step, the ability to win as a pass rusher in a variety of different ways. And there are moments where he shows really good run defense upside, but he's a very unique prospect. I said he's the unicorn of this draft because there aren't a lot of players as big as he is that move like he does. Yes, he played on injury last year and his numbers weren't great, but I still am holding a little bit of stock. I had to move him down a little bit, but I still think he's a top 15 guy in this class. Probably an early 4th round pick for me. At number 14, I've got Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. Phillips was a guy that I was on back in November, I think. I put a tweet out talking about how much I really like this defensive tackle from Maryland. Another guy that just has really good explosive numbers. 31-inch vertical, 9 foot even on the broad jump. He's 6'1", 318 pounds. He's undersized in terms of his length, 32.25-inch arms. And really, I think we could be talking about Phillips a lot differently if he just had more production. This guy, I want to say, only has 1 sack in his collegiate career, 16 pressures, 0 sacks this past season. He has just not been on the field consistently. This is a guy that there are stamina concerns. Is he going to be an every down player at the next level? But from what we saw at the East-West Shrine Bowl and the tape that he put out there at Maryland, this is a really dynamic run stuffer, a guy that is incredibly smart and incredibly reliable tackler, and he just fills holes where it's needed in the run game. Reminds me a ton of DJ Jones from the Denver Broncos. I don't know that he'll ever develop into a pass rusher because he doesn't really have an array of pass rush moves in his game. He's really stiff as a pass rusher. Doesn't have long arms, so he struggles to get off of blocks. But as a run defender and a guy that's just going to stuff the B gap, I think Jordan Phillips could be a massive addition to a defensive line. I would take him probably early fourth round, late third round. That's kind of where I have him, a late day 2 grade for Jordan Phillips. But I think he's a really good player and a guy that's going to end up making a team very happy because of his contributions in the run game. At number 13, probably the newest guy that I have watched in this class, and that's going to be Vernon Broughton out of Texas. I was doing some studying for an off-season project that I've got going on, and just time and time again, number 45 on Texas just makes plays. And I was like, I got to look at the tape on this guy. Vernon Broughton is an awesome player, and I don't really think he gets the respect he deserves in this class. He had 32 pressures this past season, 4 sacks, and a 13% pass rush win rate, which is second of the top 15 guys we're going to be talking about. This guy, I think, has a real opportunity to develop into one of the more explosive defensive tackles from this draft class. He's 6'5", 306 pounds, 34.5-inch arms, so he's got really good measurables. His explosiveness off the line of scrimmage, his first step quickness to get into the backfield with speed is really impressive. But it's the way that he wins. He has so many different pass rush moves. He's active in the passing lanes, wanting to bat down footballs, and he wins with power. He wins with speed. I do think he's going to need to improve his anchor. He's pushed off the ball way too often. Not an awesome run defender. Just misses a lot of tackles. And he just plays out of control. But man, his pass rush tape is really fun. He's a guy that I think is going to be able to get after the quarterback. I really like his game. I love his length. Love the way that he wins with swipes and hands. He's a really fun player. I don't think he's being talked about enough. I've got Vernon Broughton at number 13. At number 12 in this class, that's where I'm going to have Jamaree Caldwell out of Oregon. Another guy very similar to Jordan Phillips and Deone Walker that you could say he's kind of an alien. 6'2", 332, 32.25-inch arms. He had a 5'1", 40. He's got some explosiveness in his game. He is the reason I have him a little bit higher than Broughton and a little bit higher than the other two guys that we talked about. He is a nose tackle through and through. I think this is a guy that's going to play that nose position, and I think that's where he is best. He doesn't have the longest arms, but he's going to be that player that lines up over the center and just stuffs the run lanes. But that's not all he is. This is a guy that I do think can give you a little bit as a potential pass rusher. Had a 9.3% pass rush win rate this past season, 1 sack and 25 pressures for Oregon. This is a guy going back to his time at Houston. He was productive as a pass rusher. He's got the prototypical build. He's got great body control, balance, and he's a good run defender that can stuff the gaps. I think he's a really smart player, really strong, can bulldoze his way into the backfield. Another guy you might have some concerns on if he can be an every down player. He isn't this explosive pass rusher that's going to win with all these swipes and hands, but it's in there, and we have seen it. So I like Jamaree Caldwell for that reason, and that's why I have him at 12. Similarly, at number 11, that's why I really like CJ West in this class. People are upset when I take CJ West at like pick 75. I think in my what I would do mock draft, I took CJ West to the Chargers in the 3rd round, and people are like, I think it's a little early for CJ West. 6'1", 316, another guy with shorter arms, but man, his power profile is impressive. One of the best bull rushes you will see in this draft class. He's got explosiveness off the line of scrimmage. He brings some serious juice as a run defender, and he's got really great upper body strength. He just knows how to push people around, win with power. The explosive numbers showed up at the combine. A 4.9, 5.40, really impressive time for his size, 33-inch vertical. He is explosive. 22 run stops, 25 pressures this past season, and another guy that brings you a little bit more juice as a pass rusher. I like him a little bit better than Caldwell because of the explosiveness. He's not this dynamic pass rusher, but some of the reps he had at the East-West Shrine Bowl where he showed the ability to win with counters. Really impressive. I have him at 11, though, because the missed tackle rate for him, it's a little bit high. He's had an 18.2% missed tackle rate this past year for Indiana. Missed tackles have been a concern. And yeah, he doesn't have a very deep pass rush tool bag. But as a nose tackle and a guy that's going to stuff the run lanes, he's got explosiveness, he can get into the backfield as a run defender consistently. That's the type of player you're getting in CJ West. I think he's an awesome prospect. I've got him at number 11. At number 10 in this class, that's where I'm going to have Joshua Farmer out of Florida State. Farmer is a guy that, admittedly, I was late to the party on. Shout out to my good buddy, Dom C, on Twitter. He was on Joshua Farmer pretty early. I love his traits, and that's why I have him at number 10. He's 6'2", 314 pounds, 35 and a quarter inch arms, which are the longest of any prospect we will be talking about in today's video. He moves way better than I think people give him credit for. He's got good size. His hands, when he hits offensive linemen, they feel it. He hits incredibly powerful, a ton of pop with his hands. And he's got fluidity as an athlete, good change of direction, some bend in his game, long arms for the position. He is still a developmental player. He's not the strongest guy. He's not going to win with a strong bull rush. And I do think he struggles to consistently get off of blockers. He's a guy who had 6 sacks this past season, but only a 9.4% pass rush win rate. I'd like to see that get a little bit higher, but the explosiveness, athleticism, movement abilities. He is a good run defender, I think, and this is a guy who has been productive as a pass rusher. He has been able to accumulate a bunch of sacks in his career. Now, a lot of that have been off of just the gravity of playing with a guy like Patrick Payton or Jared Verse, but the potential is there for him. I definitely think he could go in the second round because of the tools that he brings. So I like Joshua Farmer a ton. I think a team's going to fall in love with him because he's still growing into his body. He is a guy that's bulked up a ton over the last few years, and I just love the game that he plays with. I've got Joshua Farmer at my number 10 spot. At number 9, that's where I have the other Texas defensive tackle in Alfred Collins. Collins, to me, is just a really solid player. He's 6'6", 332. I don't think he is going to be this long-term, super explosive pass rusher, but I think he's sneakily a better athlete than he gets credit for. A guy that moves really well, quick first step off the line of scrimmage. He understands the leverage battles. He's constantly using his hands to bat away offensive linemen. Really impressed me, and I do think he's got upside as both a pass rusher and run defender. A guy that the pass rush numbers didn't really show up. Only 18 pressures this past season, 1 sack. But he had only a 3% missed tackle rate on 27 run stops. This is one of the smartest run defenders in the entire class. I'd like to see him to have a better bull rush, improve some of his pad level. I think he plays high way too often. But a guy that I think immediately can come in, plug run gaps for you, and be an impactful player at his position. You want to see him develop more swipes and counters as a pass rusher, but he has shown the potential. He shows active hands. That's what excites me about him as a prospect. He will likely go in the second round. That's where I have him graded. And I think he makes a lot of sense to a team like Kansas City or Buffalo in the second round to just be that run stuffer in the middle that they are desperately looking for. So I've got Alfred Collins at number 9. At number 8 in this class, I've got Omarr Norman-Lott. Tennessee's defense had some awesome players in it this year. We talked about James Pierce. We're going to be talking about quite a few of them in next year's draft cycle. But Omarr Norman-Lott, he didn't play much for Tennessee. I think he only played 400 or 500 snaps for them this year. Didn't see the field much because of a rotation. But man, when he saw the field, Omarr Norman-Lott is disruptive. He's explosive. And he's a guy that had one of the best pass rush win rates. 18.9% pass rush win rate this past season for Tennessee, which is a phenomenal number for a defensive tackle, and it is the best of the guys we're going to be talking about. 27 pressures, 5 sacks. He's 6'1", 295, 11 and an 1/8 inch hands, 31 and a half inch vertical, 9'5" broad jump. He is explosive off the line of scrimmage. He is a guy that can win off the line with his quick first step and his ability to get into the backfield. But his pass rush moves are what excite me about him the most. Active hands. He has shown the ability to win in a variety of different ways. It's not one move. He's got 2 or 3 really good pass rush moves that he has shown that he can consistently pull out to get into the backfield, which I absolutely love. As a run defender, he's had his struggles. He is pushed by more powerful offensive linemen at times, and he's not a great tackler. He had a 33.3% missed tackle rate this past season, 6 missed tackles. Now, you could accredit that to some of it being he just hasn't played a ton, but he does struggle to get off a block sometimes. He's not really the most powerful player in the world. So for that reason, I see it. He is also kind of a rotational piece. Going back to his time at Arizona State, this is a guy that just doesn't have a lot of football experience, which on one hand might be a great thing, but on the other hand, it leaves you with some question marks on what he is as a player. I love him, though. I think he's a really, really good defensive tackle. The explosiveness. This is a guy that is going to make an NFL GM very happy because he could be a rotational pass rush piece for you. Maybe like a Milton Williams type of guy. And I think he could be a really good steal down the board. So I've got Omarr Norman-Lott at number 8. At number 7, I'm going to be lower on this player than the consensus. I've got Tyleik Williams. Now, what I will say about Tyleik, I think he goes ahead of at least 2 or 3 of the guys that I have ahead of him. And this isn't a knock on Tyleik Williams because some of the upside that he shows, I mean, the Oregon game in the playoffs, he was phenomenal. He was really, really good in that game. He does have great size. He's 6'3", 334, shorter arms again at 32 inches. Really, I'll just get right to the chase with him. What I don't like about him, he just doesn't have a lot of pass rush moves. He shows a decent spin move, I guess, but his hand usage is very inconsistent. He isn't always precise as a run defender. I think he takes a lot of bad angles. A guy that had a 12.7% missed tackle rate this past year. You're buying into him, though, because of his run defense. He is 6'3", 334, exceptional size. He's got a tall frame, big body to stuff run gaps. He's interesting, though, because if you were to ask me last year, I probably would have had Tyleik Williams in the top 3. He ended up adding like 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, kind of changed his play style all around. And I think he does have a nice first step off the line of scrimmage. I think he plays very balanced, great body control. He shows an incredible amount of power, and his ability to split double teams is really impressive. I think he is a guy that could sneak into the first round to a team like Buffalo because he is a really, really impressive run defender. But there are some inconsistencies in his game that do have me lower on him than I think the consensus would be. Still a top 50 guy and a guy that I think could sneak into the first, but I do have some questions about him at the next level. At number 6, I've got Darius Alexander from Toledo. Another big shout out to my guy Dom C, but this guy has just risen up my board tremendously. 82.25-inch wingspan, 34-inch arms, 4'9", 640, 28 on the bench, 31.5-inch vertical, 9'4" broad jump, 7'6" 3-cone. All of these numbers are just phenomenal. This guy is everything you want in a defensive tackle athletically. Really good explosiveness. He is a guy that can play off the edge. He can play that 3-4 defensive ends. He can play the 3-tech. He has shown versatility to play all over the line of scrimmage. He has active hands as a pass rusher with an array of pass rush moves, but he also has a power profile, which I really like. He shows the ability to push the pocket back, which I absolutely love about him. Look at what he did at the Senior Bowl. I mean, this guy was the most disruptive player on the field the entire week. I do think run defense can be up and down for him. I do think that could be a concern. 15% missed tackle rate, a little bit high for him, but a guy that just has so much experience, which honestly might come back to hurt him. He's 25 years old. He is an older prospect, but he's one of the best pass rushers in the class. 37 pressures, 12.9% pass rush win rate this past year. He knows how to get after the quarterback. He's got explosiveness, athleticism, elite movement abilities. I think he can win with speed. He can win with power. So much to love about Darius Alexander. Another guy I wouldn't be shocked if he went in the back half of the first round, but I've got Alexander at number 6. At number 5, I'm higher on this player than 99% of people. I think also I probably took this guy in more 7-round team mocks than any other player. That's going to be South Carolina's TJ Sanders. I love TJ Sanders. For one, he's a better athlete than Darius Alexander. He's 6'3", 284. He is a little bit smaller, doesn't quite have the arm length, but he ran a 4.95, 31.5-inch vertical, 9'4" on the broad jump, a 4.67 shuttle, 7'7" 3-cone. Another guy that has been disruptive as a pass rusher, 33 pressures, 12.6% pass rush win rate, 5 sacks. Alexander and Sanders, are very close. I tend to lean towards Sanders, though, because one, competition level. He was playing in the SEC, going up against better competition week in and week out. I think he moves extremely well. He's got crackdown speed in the run game. He's really fluid. I think his ability to get skinny, penetrate gaps in the run game is really, really impressive. I do think as a pass rusher, he can improve his anchor. He hasn't been the most reliable, could get bullied and pushed around by more physical offensive linemen. And that's really my biggest concern with him. His play strength is a bit up and down, but he's a good athlete. He's really young still. I think he's 21. Darius Alexander's 25. I like TJ Sanders a lot. I don't think that most people are going to have him in their top 5, but he's a really good player, and I have a second round grade on him. I would be surprised if he went in the first round, but I just love his game. I think he moves really well. He can rush the passer, and I think he's a little bit of a better, more consistent run defender than Alexander, which is why I have him at number 5. At number 4 in this class, I've got Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. People aren't going to like this. I know a lot of people like Kenneth Grant at number 2, number 3 in this class. I think the top 4 are pretty interchangeable. I'll say this. I think 3 and 4 are interchangeable. I think the top 2 for me are clear as day. But I like Kenneth Grant, 6'3", 342. Ran a 5'1", 140, which is a really impressive time for his game. Only did 22 on the bench. This guy's just been really consistent. 5.9% missed tackle rate. He is an elite run defender. He gives you a little bit as a pass rusher, too. He's one of the best nose tackles I've studied, right up there with T'Vondre Sweat last year. Tremendous size, really good hand placement as a pass rusher. He can rush the passer with an excellent bull rush. He's a better mover than you would expect. Ran a 5.11, 1.79 split, which I think is really impressive. And he's got active hands to bat down balls at the line of scrimmage. His power profile is some of the best in the country, but he does lunge a little bit. I think he can be pushed off the ball in run game. He takes some bad angles, has some missed tackles here and there that I'd like to see improve. And I do think he's got some stamina concerns. I don't know if he's an every down player. I like guys that give me a little bit more as a pass rusher. That's kind of what I value. Kenneth Grant, he does give me that. I like some of the other guys a little bit better. It's not a knock on Kenneth Grant because I think Kenneth Grant is a phenomenal player that will probably go in the top 20. But I like these other 3 guys a little bit more. At number 3, I've got Derrick Harmon from Oregon. He is so fun. A guy that I think he gives you that run defense that Kenneth Grant does. And you might look at it this year. He had 25 run stops, 12 missed tackles. Not a great number for him. But go back to what he did at Michigan State. He was one of the most productive run defenders in college football. This past year at Oregon, he proved he's more than that. He became one of the best pass rushers. I want to say he was the best pass rusher in the country from the interior. 17.6% pass rush win rate, 55 pressures, 5 sacks. Those 55 pressures are by far the most that we have talked about. The only guy that comes close is going to be our number 6 guy, Darius Alexander, who had 37. Harmon had 18 more pressures than he did on more usage. I think he's a really, really good player. 6'4", 313 pounds. He's got the wingspan at 84 inches, ran a 4.95. Again, elite athlete. His hands as a pass rusher constantly moving. He has been productive as a run defender. Missed tackles are going to be a concern for him. I think his pad level can be up and down. And outside of this year at Oregon, you might have some concerns about what he is as a pass rusher. But he's a really good football player, and I would be shocked if he gets taken after the top 20 because I think he's that good of a player. He will probably end up being in my top 20 in my final big board, which will be coming out later this week. At number 2, I've got Walter Nolen, and I'm going to be honest, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Walter Nolen is the best defensive tackle from this draft class. I really did flirt with the idea of putting Walter Nolen at number 1. And I know there's all of this off-the-field drama with him, and people are taking him out of the first round. I don't care. I really don't. Because I think Walter Nolen is one of the most impressive athletes I've ever watched at the position. But furthermore, he's still raw. And that's the part that I don't think people totally get with Walter Nolen. He's 6'3", 296, 32.5-inch arm, 79.5-inch wingspan. This is a guy that I have liked since the summer, and a guy that transferred from Texas A&M to Ole Miss this year. There were concerns about what he was going to be able to do as a pass rusher. He is athletic, a guy that played all over, but he just didn't have this incredible pass rush tool belt. And I think he proved that he could be a dynamic pass rusher. He is still a better run defender than he is a pass rusher. 4.3% missed tackle rate, which is an elite number, 32 run stops. But it was what he did as a pass rusher that really impressed me. A guy who had 35 pressures on an 11% pass rush win rate. It's a really good number. He still hasn't figured it out as a pass rusher either, which I think is the scary part because he has a couple of moves that I don't really feel like he knows. He doesn't rush with a plan yet, and that's the scary part because if he gets that down, this is a guy that could be one of the best defensive tackles in football. I really do believe that. He is an absolutely dynamic player with a ridiculous amount of athleticism. I mean, he played edge for Texas A&M, but he is an elite run defender. He's still a great pass rusher, and he hasn't even figured it out yet. Sure, there might be off-the-field issues with him that I can't speak into. He is a little bit smaller at 296. He does have some issues at disengaging with blockers from time to time. But Walter Nolen is an absolute superstar. I've got him at number 2. And at number 1, it hasn't changed. It's still Mason Graham. I think prospect fatigue is starting to get the better of him. He is still the best defensive tackle in the class. He just does everything you want in a pass rusher. He did have a better year in 2023. I'm not going to sit up here and argue that. But he had a 4.8% missed tackle rate, only 30 run stops, which of only 30 run stops. That's an elite number. 34 pressures, 13.8% pass rush win rate, 5 sacks. He is a guy that, yes, he has shorter arms, 32-inch arms. He can struggle with balance from time to time. That's it. There are people that are trying to say that Mason Graham doesn't have secondary pass rush moves, and if he doesn't win with his first move, he's going to get beat. I don't think we were watching the same tape. Go back and watch that national championship game where Mason Graham was everywhere in that game. He showed the ability to rush with multiple different moves. He can win inside. He can win outside. He's got power. He's a very good run defender. He's explosive off the line of scrimmage. He knows how to use his hands. And a guy that just sheds blockers with ease. I think he is a phenomenal prospect. And a guy that I just don't fully understand why the consensus has not given him the love that he deserves. He's a top 10 player in the class. I don't see him making it past the Jets at 7. He is still the number 1 defensive tackle in the draft class. And like I said, I think prospect fatigue is starting to get the better of him. But don't let it fool you. He's the best defensive tackle and maybe the best defensive player in the draft class. But that's going to do it for me in this video, guys. Would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. We got the running backs tomorrow, and that is going to complete the positional ranking series. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.